Let's add Google authentication in Firebase. Go to the authentication section. I'm zoomed in far enough now that I have a little pop-up menu, like hamburger menu. But if you go smaller, it's over here in the sidebar. Authentication sign-in method. Let's add Google. And it says, shucks. I think it has something to do with what's going on over there. Boy, once it decides to do this, it is hard convincing it to do anything else. You all know to go to the authentication tab, right? And then in the authentication section, there's the sign-in method tab. Under there, Google, you just click the edit next to that. Just click the switch that says enable. That's all you have to do. Just enable. Back in your code, in your base.js, you have a line export const to GitHub provider. We'll just copy and paste that. Change GitHub provider to Google provider. And on the right side of the equal sign, new firebase.auth.GitHub auth provider, change to Google auth provider. In the sign-in component, you have a button, class name GitHub, on-click authenticate with GitHub provider. So we're going to do the same thing with Google. Up at the top, you import both auth and GitHub provider from base. So you need to add Google provider up there. So it is import auth, comma, GitHub provider, comma, Google provider from base. And then on the second button, the sign in with Google button, we need to add an on-click. It'll look just like the other one, except that it's Google provider instead of GitHub provider. So on-click equals an arrow function that calls authenticate. I know. I'll deal with it in a sec. Authenticate and pass in Google provider. I'm going to sign out from GitHub. Try signing in with Google. Pick my account. I picked the account, and I have notes. Now you may run into trouble with having more than one account using the same email address. If your Google account and your GitHub account have the same one, you can choose to disallow that, but you can also choose to allow it. Back in the Firebase authentication panel on the sign-in method tab, same place where you enable Google authentication in the first place. If you scroll down to the bottom, there's an advanced section with an option multiple accounts per email address. And you can click change. And when you click change, you'll have the option to allow creation of multiple accounts with the same email address. And then it'll be fine. In authentication in Firebase, on the sign-in method page, the same one where you add Google, scroll down to the bottom, there's an advanced section. Click the big change button next to multiple accounts per email address. Now all the notes are still being saved under one place. So regardless of who you sign in as, you're getting the same list of notes. So that was another part of the homework. So we'll look at that in a second. Everybody got Google Auth working though?